Denialists aren't necessarily liars. It's often completely sincere. Denialists come in all shapes and sizes. Denial and denialism aren't necessarily the same thing. We all deny sometimes. We have to deny sometimes because sometimes truth can be very difficult to face. So denial is not wanting to face something. It's kind of an absence, a silence. Denialism is presence. It offers an argument. It's proactive. And that's the key difference here. To deny that global warming is happening, simple denial of global warming is to just try and avoid talking about it. Right? You just don't want to face it. Denialism is saying, no, it's not happening, and here is why, X, Y, and Z. It's taking the fight to the enemy, if you like. Denialism is a systematic attempt to overturn or challenge a scientific orthodoxy based on a number of well-worn techniques. It's a poisonous force in society.
That seems to be growing.
It's hard to tell if it's growing or not. It's certainly ubiquitous online. There are certainly well-funded institutions that do it. The American president is certainly either tolerant or an active supporter of it.
So where does that leave us?
It leaves us in a very difficult place, but I also argue in my book on the subject that denialism is starting to break down in the sense that the online chaos is such that that attempt to try and develop a counter-orthodoxy is starting to fail. And what instead happens is you get people like Donald Trump sort of making arguments through simple assertion. And perhaps the stage beyond that is moving beyond denialism totally towards open acknowledgement of those things that maybe weren't sayable before, that might be sayable in the future. And that's not necessarily a prospect we can welcome. There's a real dilemma here. If we want a world without denialism, then we're more likely to get a world of people saying things that we find very difficult to hear than a sort of peace, love and harmony. So either if we make some things unspeakable, we have to accept that people will use surreptitious methods to say what they might have said if it wasn't unspeakable. And that's the dilemma I want to raise. Our ability to understand what truth actually is often fairly naive. The idea of absolute truth is something of a chimera, and in the search for absolute truth, that leaves us vulnerable to things that might feel true, but that aren't.